The sun sits high over Maplewood Estates, a quiet suburban neighborhood with pristine lawns and freshly painted fences. Birds chatter in the oak trees lining the cul-de-sac, their songs blending with the distant hum of a lawnmower. I step out onto my porch, coffee in hand, soaking in a rare moment of peace before the day starts. My house, a modest, well-kept two-story home, is my sanctuary, a place I fought hard to own in a neighborhood where people like me are still viewed as new arrivals, despite living here for years. Across the street, Mrs. Thompson waters her hydrangeas. She offers a stiff nod, the same forced politeness she's shown since I moved in. A few houses down, Mr. Patel jogs by, earbuds in, flashing me a genuine smile. Some neighbors are friendly. Others tolerate my presence. And then there's her, Sharon Whitaker, president of the Homeowners Association. She drives past in her silver Lexus, sunglasses perched on the bridge of her nose, an ever-present air of self-importance around her. She slows down near my driveway, eyes scanning like a hawk looking for prey. I know that look. Searching. Calculating. I pretend not to notice. Life here isn't perfect, but I've learned to pick my battles. Small things, side eyes, muttered complaint about neighborhood standards, the condescending way Sharon emphasizes her when addressing me, are the background noise of my daily life. Then I see it, a black SUV, parked inside my garage. I blink. For a moment, I think I'm imagining it. No, the vehicle is definitely there, sitting arrogantly in the space where my car should be. The nerve, the sheer entitlement. I march toward it, adrenaline spiking. The garage door is wide open, like whoever did this didn't even bother to be discreet. What the hell? My fingers curl into fists as I approach. My mind races, running through explanations. A mistake? A prank? No. Nobody would be foolish enough to park inside someone else's garage by accident. I peek inside the driver's seat. Cup holder filled with half-empty Starbucks cups. A stack of HOA papers on the dashboard. A monogrammed tote bag in the passenger seat. My stomach drops. Sharon. Of course, it's her. A sharp gust of wind rattles the trees. A bad omen. I exhale slowly, willing my pulse to steady. Maybe she's inside, snooping around. Maybe she has some half-baked excuse. But one thing is clear. This isn't just a problem. This is war. The hairs on the back of my neck prickle. She parked in my garage. That alone is bad enough. But a sinking feeling tells me this isn't a one-time thing. I walk around the SUV, jaw clenched. It fits snugly inside my garage, as if it belongs there. The audacity. I pull out my phone and snap a few pictures. Proof. Evidence. Something tells me I'll need it. Then I hear it. A voice. Oh, good. You're finally home. I turn, and there she is, Sharon Whitaker, standing in my driveway like she owns the place. Perfectly pressed slacks, pastel blouse, pearls glinting in the afternoon sun. She doesn't look embarrassed. Not caught. Not even remotely apologetic. I stare at her, waiting for an explanation. She sighs dramatically, adjusting her sunglasses. I was hoping you wouldn't mind. The HOA is having a neighborhood beautification event, and my driveway is filled with supplies. She gestures vaguely behind her. So I parked here, just for a little while. Just a little while. I scan her expression. No trace of guilt. No question of whether this is acceptable. She's talking to me like I'm an inconvenience, like I should be grateful she's even explaining herself. This is my garage. I say evenly. She laughs. Laughs. Oh, I know, dear, but we're all neighbors, aren't we? A little flexibility never hurt anyone. She waves a manicured hand like she's dismissing me. I take a step closer. Did it occur to you to ask before you parked here? She gives me a patronizing smile, the kind you give a child throwing a tantrum. I assumed you wouldn't mind. You don't use your garage that often, anyway. I see red. That's not just an assumption. That's a declaration. A power move. She's telling me, in her own polished way. that she doesn't see me as an equal. I force myself to breathe. Move your car. Now. She sighs again, this time exasperated, like I'm the unreasonable one. Oh, honey, I will. Later. I'm in the middle of something. She turns her back on me. And that's when I know this isn't just about a car. It never was. This is about control. About who belongs in this neighborhood. About who gets to set the rules and who's expected to follow them. I watch as she pulls out her phone and starts typing, completely dismissing me, completely unbothered by the fact that she's trespassing. A slow, seething rage creeps up my spine. She thinks she's untouchable, but she just made a mistake. A big one, because I'm not letting this go. Not this time. I wake up the next morning, half hoping that last night was just some ridiculous dream. But no, when I open my garage door, Sharon's SUV is still there. She never moved it. My fingers tighten around my phone. She's testing me, seeing how much she can get away with. If I let this slide, what's next? Will she start parking here whenever she wants? Treating my space like a community lot? I march across the street. The early morning sun casts long shadows, but my anger burns hotter. Knock, knock, knock. It takes her 2 whole minutes to answer. She opens the door, a silk robe wrapped around her, coffee cup in hand, as if she's just so busy with her perfect little suburban morning. She smiles. Oh, good morning. Did you need something? She's playing dumb. Move. Your car. Her smile barely flickers. Oh, that? She waves a dismissive hand. I meant to, but I got caught up with HOA duties. You know how it is. I fold my arms. I'm not asking. Her eyes harden just for a second. Then she tilts her head and sighs. Listen, I get that you're new here. Oh, hell, no. But the HOA has always had a certain understanding. If we need to temporarily use a driveway or garage, neighbors help each other out. You didn't use it. You took it without asking. She gives me that syrupy, sweet, condescending smile again. I didn't think you'd mind. You thought wrong. She exhales sharply. Fine. I'll move it later today. No. Now. She tilts her head, appraising me like I'm out of line for even standing up to her. And then she chuckles. Do you really want to go down this road? You know I'm the HOA president, right? There it is. The threat. I don't flinch. And she leans against the doorframe, still smiling. And, sweetheart, the HOA has rules. Violations. Fines. Property inspections. Are you sure you want to pick a fight with me over something so small? The rage inside me boils over. I don't know what you're used to, but you don't get to bully me. Move the car or I'm towing it. Her eyes narrow. The friendly mask slips for just a second. Then she scoffs. You wouldn't dare. I pull out my phone, scrolling through my contacts. Watch me. That gets her attention. Her fingers tighten around her coffee cup. Oh, don't be ridiculous. I'll take care of it later. I press call. She lunges forward, grabbing my wrist. Wait. There's no need for that. I yank away, stepping back. And that's when she changes tactics. Her voice drops to a venomous whisper. Listen, if you make this a thing, I'll make sure the HOA is watching your every move. You think you're safe here? You think people like you can just do whatever they want? People like me. There it is. I don't blink. I don't react. But inside, I'm done. I lower my phone. All right. She smirks. Thinks she's won. Thinks she scared me off. She has no idea. Because I'm not calling a tow truck anymore. I'm calling my lawyer. And I'm about to burn her whole game to the ground. I don't sleep that night. Not because I'm afraid. Because I'm planning. By morning, I have everything I need. The security footage, downloaded. HOA bylaws, highlighted. A tow truck, already on the way. I step outside just as the driver pulls up, Perfect timing. I point to the SUV. That's the one. He nods, reaching for his hook. But before he can even get started, I hear it. The screech of tires. Sharon's white Lexus comes flying down the street. She slams the brakes in her driveway and launches herself out, rage dripping off her like perfume. What the hell do you think you're doing? The tow truck guy doesn't even blink, moving an illegally parked car. She spins on me, eyes wild. You called a tow truck. Are you insane? I cross my arms. I gave you a chance. She laughs, sharp and cold. Oh, you have no idea what you just did. And then she pulls out her phone and starts dialing. I already know who she's calling. Her little HOA cronies. The ones who back her up no matter what. The ones who think her word is law. She paces back and forth as she speaks. Yes, hi, it's Sharon. We have a major issue. One of our residents is acting completely irrational. Yes, I need someone here immediately. HOA violation. No, it's serious. She turns back to me, eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Let's see how smug you are when you're drowning in fines. I don't flinch. Oh, I'm not worried. She raises an eyebrow. Oh, sweetheart, you should be. And that's when I pull out my own phone. She frowns. What are you? I tap a button. A video starts playing. The footage is crystal clear. Sharon, sneaking into my garage, parking her car like she owns the place, smirking as she walks away. Her face drains of color. Whoa, what is that? She stammers. I tilt my head. Security footage. I installed cameras last week in case you decided to pull something shady. Looks like I was right. The tow truck guy grins. Oh, that's solid evidence. You want me to take it to the impound lot? Sharon's lips part, but no words come out. She is panicking. I keep going. You know what's funny? The HOA bylaws you love so much, they actually forbid unauthorized parking on private property. And trespassing? That's a crime, Sharon. She shakes her head violently. This is ridiculous. No one's going to believe. I sent the footage to my lawyer this morning. I cut in, and to every single member of the HOA board. Her face goes ghost white. I step closer, lowering my voice. So go ahead, call your little friends. Let's see if they still back you up when the whole neighborhood knows you've been abusing your position. She snaps. You think you can do this to me? I built this community. You don't belong here. There it is. The final mass shatters. She doesn't even realize what she just admitted. But I do. And so do the neighbors who started gathering outside their houses, watching the scene unfold. The air is thick with silence. Then the tow truck driver chuckles. Well, looks like this one's coming with me. He hooks her SUV up in one swift motion. The metal clank echoes through the street. Sharon lunges forward, screaming, Stop. You can't do this. I'm the HOA president. I fold my arms, watching her fall apart. Not for long. Sharon is spiraling, her carefully curated image. The HOA president, the pillar of the community, the woman who runs this neighborhood like her personal kingdom, is crumbling before her eyes. And she knows it. Her SUV is already lifted onto the tow truck, and she's screaming at the driver like a banshee. Put it down. I said, put it down. Do you know who I am? The driver just shrugs. Ma'am, I don't care if you're the Queen of England. You illegally parked on private property. It's going. I watch as her hands tremble, her perfectly manicured nails digging into her palms. You'll regret this, she hisses at me. You have no idea who you're messing with. Oh, I think I do, I reply smoothly. And I think the HOA board does too. Her face jerks up. I hold up my phone, wiggling it. Did you really think I'd stop with just a board? The footage? The lawyer? Oh no, Sharon. I smile. I send it to the entire neighborhood group chat. Her lips part. Pure horror floods her face. Because we both know that chat is the heartbeat of this community. The second someone sends a text, gossip spreads like wildfire. And sure enough, people are coming out of their houses now. Doors opening, curtains shifting, neighbors stepping onto their porches, phones in hand. A few people are already whispering, looking from their screens to Sharon, realization dawning in their eyes. Sharon whirls around, desperate. "This is a misunderstanding," she shouts. "That video is edited. It's out of context. Out of context." A voice cuts through the air. Mrs. Patel, an older woman, HOA treasurer, someone Sharon has bullied into silence more than once. She steps forward, arms crossed, her expression unreadable. She holds up her own phone. The same footage plays on her screen. "Sharon, this is crystal clear. You broke into their garage." She glances at me. "And this isn't the first complaint we've had about you abusing your position, is it?" My stomach clenches. I hadn't expected backup. But here it is. Sharon snaps toward her. "Don't you dare act like I'm the villain here. Everything I've done has been for this community. I keep this place in order." Enough. Another voice. Paul, one of the HOA board members. And behind him, more residents. More people watching, whispering. Sharon's kingdom is turning against her. She tries again, desperate. I was only doing what was best. The bylaws. I cut her off. "You mean the bylaws you broke?" I turn to Paul and Mrs. Patel. "Considering HOA president violate trespassing laws." Mrs. Patel shakes her head. Paul sighs. "No. And parking on someone else's property without permission? That's grounds for removal." Sharon's mouth falls open. Her power is slipping. She knows it, but she's not done yet. Her eyes flick around, like she's searching for an escape. Then she straightens her spine. "If I go down, I'm taking all of you with me," she snarls. "Half of you have broken HOA rules at some point. I know everything about all of you." A threat, pure, naked desperation. Mrs. Patel steps forward, unshaken. "Then I suppose we'll all have to take a long, hard look at the HOA's practices, won't we?" Paul nods, starting with an emergency vote to remove you as president. Sharon staggers back. "You can't. The bylaws you love so much say we can." He looks around. "All in favor?" Hands start going up, one by one, more and more, until Sharon is alone. Her eyes are wild. She lunges toward me. "This is your fault. You ruined everything." And then, flashing lights. A police cruiser pulls up. I barely have time to process before an officer steps out. "Ma'am," he says firmly, walking toward Sharon. "We need to have a word." Her whole body stiffens. I didn't call them. I don't know who did, but I don't have to, because a familiar voice speaks up from the crowd. "I did." We all turn. It's my next-door neighbor. A woman who had never spoken up before. A woman who had always stayed silent, even when she knew Sharon was wrong. But not anymore. She lifts her chin. "I saw her break into the garage," she says. "I heard her screaming, threatening people. She's trespassing." The officer nods. "That's all we need." He turns back to Sharon. "Ma'am, you're in need to come with us." Sharon loses it. She thrashes as the officer takes her arm. "You can't do this. I built this place. I'm not going anywhere. I am the HOA." But no one moves to help her. No one speaks up for her, because Sharon doesn't own this neighborhood anymore. Her reign is over, and the world is watching her fall. Sharon is gone, hauled off in the back of a police cruiser, her shrieking protests fading into the night. And just like that, the queen has fallen. The neighborhood stands in silence, watching the red and blue lights disappear down the street. Some people exchange uneasy glances. Others whisper. But no one dares to defend her. Not anymore. Mrs. Patel breaks the silence first. She turns to me, her expression softening. "I'm sorry it took this long." For a moment, I don't know what to say. Then Paul clears his throat. There'll be an emergency meeting. Sharon's out as HOA president, effective immediately. I nod, feeling the weight of everything that just happened settle into my chest. It's over, and we won. The fallout. By morning, the entire neighborhood knows. Screenshots of the footage flood the community Facebook page. The group chat explodes with messages. Did you see the video? I always knew she was shady, but this? Wait, wasn't she using HOA funds for personal expenses too? Y'all, I found another video of her threatening people. This is wild. The floodgates are open. More neighbors start coming forward. Stories of Sharon's bullying, her shady HOA dealings, the way she targeted certain families. They all start piling up. And the local news? They catch wind of it fast. By noon, a reporter is standing outside Sharon's house, covering the HOA president's shocking downfall. By evening, Sharon's name is trending. She tried to be the ruler of this neighborhood. Now the whole city knows who she really is. Consequences. Sharon isn't just dealing with public humiliation. No, it gets worse. An audit of the HOA's funds begins immediately. Turns out there's missing money. Thousands of dollars in misallocated expenses. A lawsuit is inevitable. And then there's the trespassing charge. A few weeks later, I get the update. Sharon pleads guilty. She cuts a deal, avoids jail, but gets community service and a hefty fine. She sells her house within a month. No one says goodbye. The neighborhood changes. Without Sharon, the HOA actually starts working for the people. Paul is elected as the new president, but this time, there's transparency. No more secret rule changes. No more ridiculous fines for having the wrong shade of paint. People breathe easier. For the first time in years, the community feels like a community. One day, Mrs. Patel catches me outside. You know, she says, I should have spoken up sooner. We all should have. I smile. At least we got there in the end. She nods, thoughtful. Yes, and next time, we won't stay silent. The final moment. It's a warm evening when I finally pull into my driveway without finding someone else's SUV parked in my garage. For the first time in months, my home feels like mine again. I step out, inhale deeply, and take it all in, the quiet, the peace. Justice isn't always instant, but tonight, it feels damn good.